An absolutely beautiful afternoon here at America's National Park of Speed. Not a cloud in the sky, cool temperatures, and it is time for the run to the gold in Formula Continental here at the glorious Road America. Hi everybody, I'm Greg Creamer. Have Larry Lefty McLeod alongside for this one, and down in pit lane, of course, Hayward Wagner, and we are getting ready to go racing, and this should be a really good race. Not as deep a field as we'd like to see, but a lot of talent on board these cars, and pretty good conditions for them right now, I would think, Larry.
Oh, this is going to be spectacular, except the visibility coming out of any corner that faces west. That sun is low in the sky. It's going to be tough.
Yeah, it's brutal for us. I can only imagine what it's like for guys behind the wheel at serious speed here. Good look at one of the important runs here. It's that short shoot from 1 through what they call 2 of sorts and into turn 3. But before we get any farther into this, let's check in with Hayward Wagner.
Guys, you nailed it. We are in a beautiful Road America afternoon. It's been a bit of a day. Obviously, this is our last race here on Friday. These guys have been waiting all day to get out. Finally, their turn, and you are absolutely right. The low sun is going to be a factor. Formula Continental, 2-liter Formula cars. Very simple wing package, all things considered, but some variation in the wings. You'll notice Tim Miner, our pole sitter, has a very flat front wing on the car as we move back a little bit more complexity on the wing on Michael Verison's car. And, of course, Rob Allaer back there employing a Formula One team to get the aero bits on his car. One name that's missing here today is Rob's son, Nolan Allaer. He is at VIR this weekend, and Rob just informed me that he has reset or set a new overall track record there, driving an Indy car at a vintage event. So that gives you an idea of the kind of talent you see here at the runoffs, folks that can go get things done. Speaking of talent, I do want to note one driver here on the grid, Michael Verison's. He made the move from Formula V to Continental maybe 3, 4, or 5 years ago, went from an absolutely dominant driver in Vs and worked his way through this field, now qualified second. He is hungry to get a win here at the runoffs. It's been a while since he stood atop the podium, and I think this year it has the best shot he's had yet.
Absolutely. I mean, we've seen some real pace from him in qualifying. We'll be talking about that in just a minute here. As you can see, these beautiful, sleek Formula cars with some aero, and they get around a track like Road America in a big hurry. We'll bring you the starting lineup and the green flag when we come back.
Choose joy. Choose your calling. Choose to really care. Choose to go for it. Just choose. We craft cars for those who choose to do more than simply move.
I wake up.
Okay, so pretend this is your race car. It's on the trailer, and you have an accident. Ouch! At least your truck's insurance will pay for another one? Yeah, not so fast. Standard insurance won't replace your race car, whether it's in the trailer, in the paddock, in the garage, or the repair shop. But at Hagerty, we can protect it for what it's really worth anytime it's off the track. No matter what or where you race, offer less than a set of race tires. Hagerty, let's drive together.
Choose to get in there. Even better, get out there. Way out there. We craft cars for those who choose to do more than simply move.
I wake up.
And there you see the very crowded paddock here at Road America. This is the historic 60th anniversary running of the Sports Car Club of America's National Amateur Championships, called the Runoff. And I can't think of a more fitting place with the history of this place and the history of SCCA to be here and being ready to get this run for the gold in.
It's a spectacular facility. It's been here a number of times. I think the second most of any venue. maybe third most, but it's held the runoffs quite a few times, and it really is a great place for motorsports here in the fall. The sun setting over the west with the trees changing colors. It doesn't get any better than this.
No, it's absolutely stunning. It's just a fabulous facility. I mean, the track is, one of the greatest, I think, perhaps even in the world. There's no question about that. But
best food anywhere.
Track food is extraordinary, especially if you don't mind a little bit of starch. It's as good as it gets here. And I'll tell you, the other part of it though is management here. Every time you come here, they've made something better. They just keep improving this facility, and you can see these beautiful machines making their way out on track here. So not a huge field, but I'm just going to get through the starting lineup here so we can chat a little bit as they come up to the flag. Starting on pole is the tire rack pole for that. A gold medalist in 2019, Timothy Miner in the number 88. Starting second, who Haywood was talking about, has been absolutely flying here in the number 65, 7-time gold medalist in a variety of classes, mostly Formula V, Michael Verichens, and he's our Sunoco 360 award winner. Starting in the third spot, a 2-time gold medalist, the number 52 of Rabbit Allaer. He's out of Grosse Pointe Woods, Michigan. Starting in the fourth spot, the 96, another 2-time gold medalist, making his 12th start, Brian Tomasi. Starting in the fifth spot, the 42 of Bill Johnson. 8th start here in the runoff. Starting 6th in the number 45 is Dean Kurluck. That's his third runoff start he'll be making. A rookie in Rockford Beauchamp, number 23. He's our Hawk Breakthrough Award winner, and he's driving a Van Diemen. Starting in the 8th spot, the number 50, another rookie, Hayden Eade. Starting in the 9th spot, making his 11th runoff start, the number 4 of Douglas Rocco. And rounding out our field in 10th, third runoff start for the 27 of Hartley McDonald. Now, you said you had observed Mr. Beauchamp having potentially some issues.
Yeah, that little tension there in the Beauchamp pits. I do see him on track. That's great. A little trouble getting the car started. They were doing a lot of work. The engine cover was still off this thing about a half an hour ago. So they really, at the last minute, able to get it buttoned up. Looks like it's on track. That'll be good for him.
Yeah, that's nerve-wracking when you're going out for a national championship race and that close to the start, you're suddenly scrambling to solve something. You'd like to have that nice, easy run-up, do whatever your normal routine is, and suddenly that's not going to happen, especially for a rookie at this event.
Yeah, it could certainly increase that stress level very quickly. Now you get in the car. Sometimes, though, as a driver, it can help you a little bit because you're so stressed you get in the car, you don't actually think about the race. You're just thinking about, what? Is the car together? Did my team do everything? Am I going to go out and do what I need to do for the team? And sometimes it just changes your focus a little bit. Let's see how he does on the opening laps here, starting there in that fourth row.
Yeah, you were talking a little bit about it here. I mean, you think about the corners that this low sun is going to start to hit people. Exit 1.
Yep.
5 up into 6.
Oh, coming up into 6 is just brutal right now with that sun just over that Corvette bridge.
And that's such a tricky corner, 6 just to start with. Yeah. And then, obviously, as you're running around the carousel, you're going to be dealing with it.
And you can see it right here as these cars are coming around there. Look at the shadows right in the driver's eyes as they come through the second 2/3 of this carousel. That's going to be a challenge for them.
And remember, folks, if you're not really familiar with this, these drivers' eyes are maybe, 3 feet, 4 feet off the ground. They are sitting low, so you get blinded, and lots of blind elevation entries here. It gets really tricky when you get the sun this low.
It really does. And when they start getting into a group and you're having to make a judgment call on the car in front of you that you can't see because the sun's in your eyes, could be very difficult for some of the drivers to be able to judge it. In that case, sometimes it's better to be the guy in front unless somebody in behind is trying to make move-in mirrors. You can't see your mirrors because they're in them and the sun's in your eyes. So all that definitely comes into play. Choosing your visors, very wise choices here to make sure you get the right tint on those. Some of the drivers will use extra tape to cover up the top third of their visor to try and give them like we're sitting here with ball caps. They're doing the same thing with their visors, trying to block that sun down.
Anything they can do, obviously. And a guy I think to maybe keep an eye on here is Robert Allaer. In that third qualifying session, they don't have an award for like the breakthrough award for your most advancement from first to second, but he made a huge gain in third qualifying, picked up over a second, 1.3 seconds he gained. And I had talked to him a little bit earlier, and he said he's been focusing so much on Nolan's racing that he hasn't done much. And he said, it's amazing how quick the rust sets in. And he said, I've just got to get back into the swing of things. It looked like he really did that in that third qualifying session. So I'll tell you what, there is some serious talent in these top 2 rows here. This should be spectacular.
Yeah, I'm expecting a long and very close race among the top 4 or 5, maybe even 6.
All right, pace car is in, and we are getting ready to get this run for the gold here, the last of our first day here at the runoffs. This is going to be amazing. Continental's coming up, we're green. Green flag flies, and we are racing, and it is, look at that, everybody absolutely dead even. Now a big pop from, I think that's
Allaer.
That's Allaer making a big move. He got a great double draft. That rust has fallen off, but he just quickly says, okay, those 2 guys look like they're really intent on staying out front. Too early to have a big risk move like that, but Allaer hangs on to that 3rd spot here as they head now down toward turn 3, and Minor absolutely flying already.
Yeah, Tomasi did a good job there, seeing Allaer drop back and gave him some room to come down the inside as well so they can stay in line going down the hill towards 3. Let's just see how this draft works. These cars do give a little bit of draft to those behind. With those wings, they're not the most downforce, but they certainly do punch a hole.
They do indeed, and again, Allaer taking a look here. He wants to move up a little bit, and this time he's going to get it done. That's going to slot him into 3rd, and you can see now a big loose moment by Verissens as he was feeling the pressure there. Allaer, and did that let? I think it did. Yeah, it let the 96 of Tomasi through, and so game is on.
Yeah, good opportunity there for Tomasi here. The opening laps, cold tires. These things give you a little bit of time to warm up. Most of these guys are on fresh stickers. Some might actually be on tires they scrubbed in on Thursday because they only get 2 sets for the
here.
week.
Oh, dancing on the brakes. Verissens dives back down and makes it work, slots himself back into 3rd. Boy, they're wasting no time.
A lot more fighting than I expected to see early in this race. I would have figured there'd be more chess match later on, but some of these guys are just, it's go time.
And the thing is that right now, Allaer has to hope that Verissens will just get to him and they can just work to try and run down a quickly fleeing Timothy Minor. He's already opening up. What is that? That's almost a 10-car length lead.
It's a huge lead in a class like this because the guys behind him have been fighting all the way from Allaer and Verissens to Verissens and Tomasi behind him.
A wonderful through Canada corner here. I've done a lot of, I love corner working a lot. That's how I really got started in all of this. And corner working Canada corner on a day like today is about as close to heaven not being behind the wheel. And it is just beautiful down there. And you talked about it with the color changing and everything. And right now, these guys are laser focused on anything but scenery. They are looking at the gearbox of the guy in front. And I really think here that Allaer would like to see Verissens just a little bit closer, but not racing him so that they can try and work together here a little bit. And you can see Verissens closing it up again.
So I'm starting to wonder if Allaer's got a good streamlined car today. He really trimmed the wings out. You can almost see it, that it looks like Verissens running more wing than Allaer, which explains why there was no pass there from Verissens on Allaer. Also why Allaer was faster on the back straight on the first lap. In this order of the running here, this may help them sort of catch up to Minor out in front and close that gap a little bit. We'll keep our eye on trap speeds here this time by.
Yeah, and Minor, of course, like I said, won the gold at VIR in 2019. Really accomplished here, but these 2 guys, Verissens there in that draft was able to get a little bit of a run on Allaer. Didn't have enough to get by. And it's interesting to me, at what point, say, is Verissens going to say, we can't get to Minor, I'm racing now for 2nd, and that can really mess things up. It's still early in this race. If they really work together, I think they can make something happen here.
Yeah, well, let's remember who we're talking about here. You got Rob Allaer, who's got 2 gold medals in this class. You got Michael Verissens, who's got 7 gold medals in Formula Vs, and those guys know how to draft and work together. So I think between these guys, they know that the race is long. It's 13 laps. We're not going to try and win this thing. We're not going to hand it to Tim Minor 2 laps in. But I'm watching behind them, Tomasi and Kiriluk doing a good job of sticking with Verissens and Allaer.
Yeah, they have, although it looks like they're dropping off just a little bit. And I've seen Kiriluk take a look or two. Nothing definitive, not really an attack, just trying to check things out a little bit. And wow, did Verisons get late on the brakes into Canada. Makes it work. He made up a little ground there on Allaer. So Michael Verison's starting to feel it here. And a V is a very different machine from this. But he's been driving this for a couple of years now. I think he's really starting to figure it out. And he's got amazing car control.
He totally does. He's got certainly he's got the ability to manage the racecraft as well. And right now I think he's recognizing that it's better to stick in behind Allaer, because Allaer right now is quickest on the track. He was a 10th quicker in the first sector, 3/10 quicker in the second sector against Minor, and he was 3/10 quicker on the lap that they just came by from Minor and Allaer. So Allaer is starting to close up a little bit. Verison's recognizing maybe it's best to stay in the draft and just wait.
Yeah, see if we can get up to Minor, make this a 3-car battle. Same plan, of course. Tomasi would like to see that happen.
Yeah.
And something happened with Kiriluk, because he was all over the back of Tomasi on the backside of the track. He comes by now, and he's over a second adrift. There you see him just coming in that red car. So he had a little bit of an issue, and Bill Johnson's maybe thinking, I got a sniff of this right now, and is going to come after it. Up front, the official margin, about a second and a half. And Verisons is on Allaer. He's diving to the inside, and I think Rob is going to be savvy enough to not fight him to the apex, lets him through. Verison's big wiggle on exit, and now Allaer is going to try and find a way back through again. It's really interesting in a way how Verisons is kind of yo-yoing a little bit. He'll drop way back, and then he closes in a huge hurry.
So what I'm saying is interesting is if Allaer is running less wing than Verisons, that actually might work out well for them to let the two straightaways have Allaer lead. And when you get to turn 5, the leapfrog happens, and as we're going to see the replay here, watch this great under braking, but it's completely under control. Watch, he pops out. It's a little late, but look at the control of Verisons. Is he not a lockup, not a twitch? Gets to the apex, gets to the exit, tracks out, and those guys didn't lose any time.
Little twitch on the exit when he went to throttle her, but yeah, you're absolutely right. Previously, when we saw him try that move down into 5, he was really twitchy under braking. I think that's just tire temp. The tires have finally come up,
I think so.
And now he's ready to go, but he is running down Minor here.
Yep.
He is absolutely flying. He is setting fastest sectors. First, second. He is hooked up right now, folks. Verisons, he's flip the switch for boost or something. He's coming.
He really is. And again, I go back to, I think he's got more downforce, so the twisty part of the track, he's got an advantage. Now we get to the straightaways, he'll be okay in the draft. Popping out, he may struggle. Watch Allaer, though, close him in. Allaer had a little bit of a struggle in that sector that time through as they come down the front straight, but Allaer should close up here by the time they get down to 1, if not when they get to 5.
Yeah, look at Verisons, a 2:11.7. That is absolutely rocketing around this track right now. That is fast lap of the race by a ton, and he is coming after Minor. And I wonder if Verisons had a setup on the car that it just took him a little bit longer for those tires to come in, and which is a good thing, because obviously if you set up for the tires to come in quickly, they can go off as the race unfolds. So Verisons on the march.
Yeah, what also I've seen is you notice the entire field, with the exception of Minor, are they're in a Van Diemen. Minor in the only citation in the field, and I've heard that these Hoosier tires they run on are a little bit better for the citation than the Van Diemen, which means Verisons probably had to be careful of how he got his up to temp and got them ready, and now that he's got it, he's going to chase down Minor. Let's see how that plays for the rest of the long run. Is the citation, does it continue to be better on their tires, or can a Van Diemen run them down?
It's interesting how, okay, they're Formula Continentals. Why would a tire be better for one? It's just how the car works, how the suspension is designed, all the little things in there. Look at this battle we have going on in the back here. This is a pretty stout race that's unfolding as they head down into turn 8. That is the number 42 of Bill Johnson, and I think that's Rockford Beauchamp. Or is that Kiriluk?
I think it's Kiriluk, and I think Johnson got around Kiriluk on this lap in the all red for Johnson, the black with the red for Kiriluk.
Yep, so Kiriluk, he dropped back a bit. He was all over Tomasi, then he's dropped back. Now he's coming after him again. And you see this kind of seesaw just a little bit, but that battle up front, that lap by Veris, look at him. He is there. Yeah. He's within a couple of car lengths now into Canada corner. Now the question is,
wide run there for Minor.
I was just going to say, is Minor taking a little bit of easy, trying to save tire? No. He just ran wide, so he's feeling the heat.
Yeah, and I think he notices in that area, Veresens is clearly faster in that part of the track, but I haven't seen Veresens close up to anybody on the long straightaways. If he gets close enough, he'll be clearly in that draft, and maybe this will be his opportunity. He's got a good run off of 14.
Yeah, he's close enough, I think. He'll pick up a little bit of a toe here. And, obviously, we're just eyeballing things on those wings. And here he comes. He's got a little bit of a toe. Is it going to be enough for him to really be able to do anything into one? And I think he opted to not take that attempt right now. But it looks like they might have sort of similar aero on the cars on the rear wings. And you can clearly see when you look at Allaer's, much more trim.
Yeah, and look at the front wings. If we get another shot leading the cars, just look at how large the front wing is on Veresens' Van Diemen, even compared to Minor's car.
Okay.
Maybe that's something advantage of the Citation is he can run a little less wing, whereas Veresens has to run more front wing to get the right balance in that car. But take a look at how big the wing is there in the blue for Veresens.
Boy, that's substantially. It's got a double level on it. Yeah, that's cranking a lot more aero, which is certainly giving him some great front end stick, and explains why he's the back end's been rotating a little bit for him. But he seems pretty comfortable with it and is right there. Meanwhile, Allaer has slipped back behind these guys to the tune of about 2 seconds. There's the margin. Allaer sitting in third, and he had a great lap early, but since then, Tomasi's just a tick quicker right now. But this battle is on at the front, Larry.
Yeah, I think Allaer may either be managing the car or may have just sort of hit its peak and he can't go, whereas Minor and Veresens aren't peaked yet. These guys continue to get a little more performance out of this car with every lap as we're working with lap 5 now.
Yep. And, you were talking about, the car, the Citation, and how it's working. Well, a guy named Dave Weitzenoff did a lot of development on the early Citations in the Continental category, and he did an absolutely superb job in helping really develop these cars. And there you can see Minor doing an absolutely superb job. But, Veresens just drifting it through Canada Corner. He is getting after it.
Yeah, and I do wonder how long the tires can take that.
Exactly.
A little bit of drifting he's been doing, a little bit of sliding. Can they continue to hold their heat? It is getting cooler out there. The air temps have come down a little bit. I'm sure the track temp has, especially down near Canada because of the shadows now.
Well, the interesting thing is with that wing on the front, obviously the fronts are sticking, but you start drifting those rears and on throttle, and it just spins them up, and it kind of turns the track into a cheese grater on those tires, and Veresens gets rid of a tear-off. So maybe that's his signal. All right, I'm getting serious now.
It could be just a little bit. Tear-offs are great. This, again, we talked early on about the visibility. Any little bit of dirt and debris that gets in your visor makes it even 10 times worse. You got this dead bug in your face. You just can't see. It makes everything difficult. So, yeah, notice he pulls it up before going down into one. Allaer there went personal best in the second sector last lap, so maybe he's getting a little bit back on pace here. Still 3 seconds back from the front two, but I wouldn't say he's out of this yet.
No, and Allaer's got a lot of experience, and he probably should have 2 more golds than he does. There were a couple of things that happened when it was just blatantly sort of taken away from him, but he's got a lot of experience. He's been doing this for a while, and one thing he's got is a feel for tires. And if he thinks this pace is too hard on him, he'll back off a little bit.
So much experience in these cars. We talked a bit about how his son Nolan, defending champ, is offsetting lap records at VIR and Indy cars and whatever at some vintage race. But he's a bit of a wheelman. He gets that a lot from Rob, his dad. Those two were 1-2 in this class a year ago. We talked about the championship. So Rob's been out here doing it over and over again. And you talk about the other chances. He had an engine go on him at VIR in 19.
Yep.
He still blames me for that one, as I may have given them commentator's curse on that, but we still have a good laugh on that one. But yeah, so he's got a lot of experience. He'll let the tires come back in if that's what it takes.
You bet. And one of the great moments for me in runoffs history was Allaer got, he's an avid boater. He's from Michigan, and he got in a really bad boat accident, and he wasn't sure he'd ever be able to race again.
Yeah.
And he went and ran a go-kart somewhere and did it one-handed and was doing okay. And he said, maybe I could do this. He shows up at Road Atlanta, starts at the back, was third after like 3 or 4 laps, looked like, wow, maybe he could do it, and then looped it coming out of turn 5. And, we got somebody off
Johnson?
here. That might be Bill Johnson.
I think it is.
Yeah, that's
it's down there at the exit of 8. You can see
sure
the Speedville
is.
Bridge.
That's too close to the edge of the track here, and Veresens is coming. Boy, if his crew's talking to him, they might be saying, Pat, get the pass done. Get it done if you can. because where that car is sitting, I'm not sure that it'll be a quick removal if we do have to go yellow.
We're at least local down there, but
Okay.
so far just local.
All right.
But he's pretty far track left. They might be able to get away with him
that's
being
true.
there. We're only about halfway through the race, though.
Yeah, that's the thing. And if you're way, way off somewhere and you've driven over there, that's one thing. But, when you're at a spot where the car has just stopped, the old adage is if one car can get there, another one can.
Yeah.
And so you're always going to be paying attention to that. Look at that. Verison's lowered that fast lap by 0.2. He just turned to 2:11.5.
That's faster than they're qualifying. As Minor on the pole had qualified at a 0.6. Now
Yep.
Verison's a 0.534. They are moving right now. And again, Verison seems to be fast with the draft. This part of the track, as they come through the hurry downs into 8, which is where the yellow flag is, he won't be able to go by. But he seems very quick through here. The problem is this place has so many straightaways. What are you going to do?
Yeah.
You've got to get by at some point. But yeah, you can see right there that the recovery is happening there for Johnson. It's really tough for Johnson. He was having a good battle with Kiriluk for a while.
Yeah, I mean, it was a good battle for the top 5. And the other thing to me is for Verison's, with that big wing on the front, does he want to lead? Because that will give a great tow to Minor because he'll just be slower in a straight line because of the drag. Does he want to wait until the very last lap to really do something?
If you think you've got pace somewhere on track and you're relatively confident that if you can be at the lead from Canada to the finish, you may not want to show that hand early because you don't want to give Tim Minor a chance to practice behind you. So maybe, just maybe, he's thinking he could do that. We've seen how quick he is from 5 through the kink, so possibly he could make the move going into Canada. If he tries it, it may just be a test to see if it works, or he may just be banking that it has to work.
Yeah, really good point. And to me, when you're running a little bit more downforce here than somebody else, you want to make the pass in 5. Here comes the full course caution. So, hey, brings Robert Allaer right back into it. Brings Tomasi back into it.
And I'm sure Tim and Michael Verisons are thinking that's not what we wanted. We did not want the 2-time champ Allaer or Tomasi getting in there.
You betcha.
But it's about to happen.
Yeah, and this is going to be a quick removal too, I think. So we shouldn't be yellow for a very long time. And one thing, if you've been watching the Formula Continental at the runoffs here over the years, you know that normally, as we're having a look here at the cleanup, that normally Robert Allaer's car has Martini support on it. Well, because Nolan had an opportunity to go to Indy Lights, or Indy Next as they call it now, Nolan and the other guy who runs Martini all went to Martini and said, take our money and give it to Nolan and help him get out of Indy Next. And so Rob went out, and now he's sponsored by National Chili out of Michigan.
National Coney Island. Yeah,
There you
very
go.
familiar being from Michigan for that. And there may be a few other Michigan-based companies also that are supporting Nolan's efforts. And Nolan's a great kid. He's, again, another one of those second-generation SCCA family kids. I call him a kid, but he's about 6'2", and he's a great guy. His 2 wins last year were just amazing, and he's getting opportunities, and it's been well-deserved. All of it from his experience running in the Formula Ford UK Series for the last 2 seasons, and now getting to run Indy Next for last year. Perhaps he'll get the opportunity next year. I think this has just been great. I'd love to see our SCCA, as we call amateurs, or the club racers, getting opportunities at that level. Yeah,
and it really shows that just because you're doing what's called amateur racing doesn't mean you're as fast as the pros. You can be absolutely as good. You're out there racing for the love of it. You're not worried about trying to make money in a big name. But you look at some of the drivers and virtually the front end of any class here. I'd stack them up against most anybody.
Yeah, and someone like Rob Allaer, who's fantastic behind the wheel of this thing, probably not going to get a call from Formula One anytime soon.
Right.
Maybe a little past his prime, but he's a heck of a driver. Great wheel man, managing the car, which tells me that in this situation where the front 2 had this 3 or 4 second gap on him, maybe he was managing the tires. This could come back to him. Now the yellow comes out, and he gets to pull right up behind them.
Well, that's what I was thinking here, is that he might just have been taking care of those and waiting for a charge, and that's sad to see. He had such a good run going. He and Kiriluk really were putting on a show trying to decide who was going to, at that point, end up in 5th. That's all changed now because the field's going to be packed up. And, and the thing you want to watch for, this field isn't big enough where it generally becomes an issue, but, there's the old saying, too, that yellows beget yellows. So we're going to be stacked up when we go back to green. Everybody just get through the first few corners and let's race here.
Yep.
And I'm sure these guys all have enough experience to know that's got to be the game plan.
Yeah, and I'm watching for the lights. They are still on the safety cars. I'm waiting to see if they go off. And if we're going to be able to go green this next time by, we'll wait and see. But, yeah, I think with this field, there's a lot of veterans. We talked about Minor, Verrisons, and Allaer, and Tomasi are all veterans of SCCA.
Yes.
They're all they've all won championships in these classes, most of them even in this class. So there's a lot of experience combined there that I think it'll be smart, but it could be some aggression back there playing into something to talk about.
Yeah, I think so too. So too. And the good news for Rockford Beauchamp is even though he's a little bit off the pace, he's a rookie here. Not only did they get it working, but he's sitting in the 6th spot. And I think we're going to see here if Douglas Rocco is going to be able to. He dropped down a bit early. All right, lights are out. They got that cleaned up quickly, and we still have plenty of racing to go here. So they'll be starting lap 9 of 13. So plenty of time here to see this come to fruition here.
Yeah, let's see if they have to build heat back in the tires again, or if they're able to maintain that temperature here with just about, we'll call it 5 laps to go.
Yeah, it wasn't a real long yellow, but it doesn't take long for these tires to bleed off a little bit of that temperature, does it? 65 degrees outside right now. Really don't know what track temp is, but here we go. Pace car is in, and watching the start stand, we're back to green. And Verrison's getting a really good run. He's looking to the inside. That's a double draft for Allaer and Tomasi. Allaer diving down to the inside, and again, just not willing to stick the nose in there. But Tomasi, thinking about rounding him up on the outside, almost squared up and went down underneath. Now Tomasi again tucks back in.
I'm starting to wonder perhaps if Minor almost went too early, because he went pretty early coming up the hill. There is a start zone.
Big bobble there. That was Allaer running wide. And again, that may cost that gap to Minor and Verrisons. He couldn't afford to do that.
Yeah, I'm wondering if maybe Aller's tires got a little bit too cold.
Yeah,
he's been a little bit late, a little bit touchy on the brakes here. But looking at Verrisons, good opportunity. Let's see if he's got pace these next couple of corners over Minor.
And look at Allaer again trying. He tried to make the move, then went to the outside. Oh, big move to the inside here. And Minor saying, yeah, I'm still playing quick. Oh, big wiggle there. And that was going to cost him momentum. And for a second, I thought Verrisons was going to try and go around the outside. He still got speed, but that brought these guys, that certainly brought Brian Tomasi right back into the game here, as he got through an Allaer when Allaer had that off.
Smart move for Minor to take that position and that opportunity going into 6th there, because if Verrisons has pace, this is going to limit that ability to use it. If there's any extra downforce or this twisty part of the track, Minor able to pull into that lead. But look at Tomasi now, just a bit ahead of Allaer.
Yeah, and I think that's exactly what Minor was thinking, was I don't want him with that downforce leading into the twisty part of the track, where that downforce is really going to come into play here. And now he's just trying to drive away from. And remember, at the start of the race, Minor's car just hooked up immediately and took off. And I'm sure he's hoping to replicate that. It seemed like Verrison's car just took a little longer to come in. And we're going to see what happens now. And I'll tell you what, Brian Kiriluk is all over the back of Allaer right now for 4th.
Yeah, he definitely is. Allaer seems to be struggling right now. We saw him break early going into 1. We see the slide to the exit of 3. And now you can see Kiriluk pressuring the back of that 2-time champ. Maybe here, if there's a chance for Kiriluk to pass, try to get that 4th place spot. Let's watch Verrisons now, as it looks like he's got a pretty good draft going to the front straight.
And this time he moves over. And he might have enough here. He's got the inside, and of course Minor at a certain point is just going to have to tuck in behind and let him go. Does exactly that, and behind Tomasi has that little bit of a margin back to Allaer right now. And this is where we saw Verrisons was able to get through earlier. Let's see if Minor is going to be able to draft back by him here. Let's take a look. Here's that pass. He got it done pretty early.
Yeah, he had a really good run off of 14, was able to get on the inside, left Minor no opportunity except to back off and just play for the next corner, which right now I think they're planning into 5. It looks like Minor got him back.
Got him back. Well, I'll tell you, Minor is determined to not let Verrisons lead up into 6 and perhaps get away here. And it's a great strategy play, and Verrisons has to figure out a way to null out that little bit of an advantage here.
Yeah, I wonder if Verissens has thought now at this point, try to get the run off at 3 and pass into 5 as opposed to
Ooh,
having
look at this late move down to the inside in turn 8 by Allaer, and he's made that work, and it's really tough to counterpunch too much here in the carousel, and Allaer now has reclaimed that 3rd spot, but you can see the gap up front now to Minor and Verissens. Anytime you're side by each through a corner, it's slowing you both down. But Allaer's, I think, just felt, I've got a more pace here. I need to try.
Yeah, I talked to Brian a little bit a couple days ago about what's it like with aero of these cars. Is there an aero wash? Does it make the cars push when you're right behind? Because these cars really don't have enough aero to make too much of a difference. You can race pretty close in these FCs.
Yeah, it's not like the turning vanes and everything on an F1 car, where if you sneeze, it disturbs the aero. So now we're going to have to see what can Allaer. And remember, at one point earlier in the race, Allaer had the fast lap by a bit. And then Verissens started to just dial it up here. But these two, once again, starting to check out just a bit here. And I think for Verissens, what would be good for him is if he can get out of 3 well, get the draft on Minor, pass him, and hold him off into 5. And here we go. Tomas is saying, I'm going to come back at you. And Allaer ready to duel now. Holds him off around the outside.
Yeah, that door closed quick.
Yes, it did. You can hear the slam from up here. All right, here we go down the Moraine sweep. This is a good battle, but up front, let's see if Verissens is able to be close enough. Down in.
Where's Minor?
Yeah. Is he already through? And he's off. Minor is missing.
He is.
So Verissens,
I think we may be seeing a full course yellow here in a second.
Leads. Yep. Full course caution has come out. And there he is, exit 1. And that just looks like a pull-off.
Oh, that it does.
Oh.
And that tells me something mechanical in the car, and that is heartbreaking for Tim Minor, who had just been controlling this race.
He'd been driving brilliantly.
Oh.
That is, boy, talk about a gut punch. I remember a driver that I've had the pleasure of announcing for a few years now in a series called Grid Life, James Houghton from Canada. I asked him once, and he had been fast all weekend, right? Ooh, he may have lost a wheel we're hearing here. We'll see about that.
All right, so we've got the group here behind the safety car. Again, we're working lap 11. Yeah. So depending on how quickly they can get Minor moved from that position, maybe a one-lap sprint to green.
It would be fun to see. I mean, it should be if he just pulled over and was able to stop. Hopefully they can just hook up and pull him.
There's the wheel.
So that's not going to happen. What a shame. But just quick about James Houghton, he'd been fast, and then he had just one of those mechanical problems while leading. And I talked to him afterwards. I said, "You okay?" And he goes, "I'm a broken man, Greg. The sport has broken me, and I keep coming back for more." Sometimes, like in this instance, you've driven brilliantly, you've controlled the race, and then a mechanical thing, just takes it out. But that's the sport, isn't it?
It kind of is, and that's what makes the joy even more special when you do win, is because you're able to overcome all of that. Well, the good news is the track team, they're able to grab that wheel. I didn't see the car sitting there, so perhaps the car's already been moved. I believe safety car lights are still on, so we'll at least come by. But this will be the start of 12. Maybe, just maybe, we'll see.
And the nice thing is, I mean, this is, right now, we've essentially got 6 cars, and it's a 4-mile track. It's not like you're going to have 50 cars piling into the first turn on a restart. So maybe they'll let this happen here, and we'll see how this plays out. But just gutted for Tim Minor.
Tim Minor just had a really special week going and a special race. He's got to just be beside himself, and we our hearts break for him. I mean, it's tough to see when a mechanical like that happens. But here we are now with 2 laps to go, and you've got Allaer in second, Tomasi in third, each 2-time champs, and the 7-time V-champ Verissens, whose name's on a street sign right in front of his paddock spot. I mean, that's you got to understand how important Verissens is to the history of the runoffs, the history of Formula V.
Great point.
And here he is after 6+ years, maybe 7 years now, running in Formula Continental, and every year a little closer. Now he can almost taste it. He's almost wishing those lights might stay on. He doesn't want to see them come off, but he's really getting anxious down there as you've got Miners out of the car. Looks like the car is on the hook.
All right. Well, if they can get this going here, Miner's going to hop in. And you could just go down to 3, take a right, and tuck behind that barrier down there.
Yeah. Let's see how quick they can do it. The services team doing a fantastic job all week.
Oh, yeah. Road America's
Yeah.
EV crew are just the best in the business.
Well, you had said it earlier. This may be the best track in the country, and I would agree. The facilities are just second to none.
Yep.
The track itself, to me, is a special place.
Oh.
It really is America's National Park of Speed for a reason.
Yep.
You step in here and you feel like you're just in a forest. There's just trees everywhere. It's gorgeous. The place is meticulously maintained. The facilities are just, if you want to come here to camp for a weekend, I do it. Come here for vintage races. Come here for the big stuff. Come here for the club races. Come here for the June sprints.
Yep.
You can camp on site. The showers are the best I've ever seen at any racetrack or anything.
Yeah, if you camp over in the carousel there, the showers are absolutely fantastic.
Yeah.
And now they have a paved cart path that goes all the way down for the inside of the kink and back through there. So you can go back and watch cars whistle through the kink, where it's really tough to get there previously.
Yeah.
That's pretty special.
The view from just above the kink where that new landing is, you can see the beach volleyball that happens just on the west side there beyond the downhill after the carousel. And then you can overlook the kink, and then you got the path all the way the kink to Canada, so you can sit down at Canada and watch cars come in there.
Sorry, look at the pace car with the sun visors down. That's how bright it is. As they head right into this stuff. But yeah, it's a special place at every level.
Yeah,
it really is.
And it seems like every time I come back, there's another improvement made. You wouldn't think they could do it, but they continue to develop and make this place special, and it really is.
And they have 2 things for breakfast that set this place apart. The brat egger and the brat omelet.
Yeah, I haven't had the brat omelet before. I got to try that.
Yeah, it's really tasty. So, yeah, great track food here. With that Wisconsin twist.
Of course. So, brats.
Yeah.
Lots of brats, but not all brats. There's
Yeah.
things. There's good. The pulled pork here has been great.
Yep.
The cheese curds are as good as billed. They are fantastic.
They are. And there is Douglas Rocco in that bright green number 4. He had lost a lot of ground early, and but the last few laps he ran at speed, he was a few seconds quicker than Rockford Beauchamp, who will be right in front of him. So Rocco might have an opportunity to steal away a top 5 if we get back to green here.
Still see the lights on, though. We'll see. The last time we had seen them come off, they came off as they came through Canada.
Yeah.
Fingers are crossed.
Let's hope. These guys are acting like they're going back to green. The
They're
way
keeping
that
the
they are
tires
bobbing
warm.
and weaving and scrubbing and
if you're if you're Rob Allaer, I think you have to, because of what his restart was the last time was really not good. The car looked like it was cold. He needs to probably work that, but right now he may be saying this race may be over.
yeah, well, let's see. Fingers crossed here. Canada corner. Lights are still on.
They are. The only one, I mean, we're all rooting for a good finish and a fun finish. Verison's is probably thinking, I'd be okay with this.
Yeah. Although, he is, the way his car's been running, he'd like to win this.
Oh, yeah.
With a green, with a battle here.
No one's going to be more heartbroken for Tim Miner than Michael Verison's. He may win this thing, but I'm telling you, trust me, the first words out of his mouth are going to be heartbreaking for Miner.
You bet. That's just the way this field, every competitor here, fierce on the track, comrades off, no question. And up the hill we go, and white flag and the double yellows. So this is how this one's going to end. We're going to trundle around here under the full course caution, but for Verison's, an 8th.
Amazing.
Gold medal. And what a mind game it must be for him to see that sign right by his paddock space.
Yeah.
It says a lot.
He owns it. He's a very humble guy. I've talked to him a couple of times the last number of years, and he just works hard to get there. He's a family guy. He's always got his family around him, and I'm sure this is going to be pretty special for him to say, look, I'm not a one-trick pony. I'm not just V's. I can do something else. And he's been showing the pace continues to get better every year, and this year you saw the qualifying, the whole group of them right up there. He was on that front row, and this race today was exactly what you'd expect from a veteran like that. just managed the race, pressured where he could, just precise. Any side-by-side, whether it was him with Minor or him with Allaer, really beautiful stuff for Michael Veressens, and this is completely deserved on the way he's driven this race.
Without a doubt. It really is. And, one thing he's got is, you don't win that many championships in Formula V. And, one thing about Formula V, we've talked earlier about the races, the pure racing, where there's no aero. It's mechanical grip and the driver's ability. In Formula V with skinny tires and not a lot of motor, and watching those guys, it's all car control. And to win over the fields that he's best in V, that tells you he's a special talent. And it was an adjustment for him, obviously, after all those years in V.
Yeah, you watch the moves he made today to take the lead in a couple spots. For example, going into 1, perfectly controlled moves. And then when he didn't have the corner, and Minor did, for example, coming up into 6, you saw the respectful leaving, a little bit more than a car room to be able to, if the move is made, the move is done, we go fight to the next corner. Veressens did that just to a T, and just awesome control. Yeah,
it really, really was. And Allaer, except, for that one off on that restart.
Yeah.
Well, he was showing some really good speed early. There's a good look at him. And then Tomasi, a multiple-time champion as well. 5 medals total for Brian Tomasi. So he'll add another one here. And just a lot of skill and for these guys here. And let's take a look. Veressens' last win was 2018 Sonoma. So it's been a while coming, but man, it will be great. And at this point, Allaer, this will be his 7th medal, and Tomasi, as I said, will be getting 6. So it's fabulous. And I think for Allaer, obviously he'll be rueing that mistake. But like I said, when I talked to him a bit earlier, he said I've been focusing so much on Nolan stuff. He said I kind of forgot how to drive a little bit. He said it just was taking me a little bit of time.
If you want any indication of where his concentration's been, I've talked to Rob a few times in the last few years. I happened to run into him passing him in paddock finally yesterday sometime. For about 30 seconds, he talked about his own performance. And for the next 25 minutes, he talked about Nolan and what's been going on there. And that's where the proud dad, racer, sure, but proud dad of a racer as well. And so to be able to come out here and to finish second, get another medal here at the runoffs is going to be important for him, but I'm sure the first phone call is going to be to or from Nolan, I'm sure.
Yeah, without a doubt, without a doubt. And just in case you're curious, folks, Rob is a top-level TV producer for hockey. That's his specialty. And used to be the in-house producer for the Lightning down in Tampa, and now is back in Michigan and working for TNT. And there were some times when the guy who was producing for us used to actually go drive. And Rob would come in and produce those couple of races, and it was just exceptional. So he's a good close friend of the TV family here for Apex Productions, to be sure. But this moment is all Michael Veressens, as even under caution, he comes through and will pick up the checker, and that means an 8th gold medal for Veressens. Here comes Allaer and Tomasi, 2nd and 3rd, silver and bronze respectively. And unfortunately for Douglas Rocco, because of the caution, he didn't get a shot at that top 5 either. But look at that.
Look at Rob giving him the big thumbs up over to Michael Veressens. I also like what Allaer did there. Just see how he backed the field up a little bit. Get the photo op for Veressens without the rest of us in his way.
And that's Rob. That is the kind of guy Rob is. He understands what that moment means for sure. Yeah, that's a really good point. So now they're on a cool down lap.
The cool down.
Super cool down lap here.
Well, it's the last race of the day, so we're going to kind of soak this in. You can see the shadows stretching across the track here as they go down through turn 3. Just absolutely gorgeous. The workers know this. The flaggers know this is the last time they're going to see cars come by, except for one more. There'll be one more car that will get one more lap. Michael Veressens will get his lap of honor in a little bit.
You bet. And he will have earned that, to be sure. I'm going to take this moment, since this is the last race of this day, this first of 3 here at the 60th running of SCCA's National Championship Runoff, to, say a huge thank you to the unsung heroes of this sport, even at the amateur level, the crews. because they will put in the late hours. And a lot of times at amateur racing, that includes the driver. But they do just an unbelievable job. But also to all the volunteers. You know, the obvious ones we always talk about, the workers out around the track, in harm's way, providing information to the drivers, to race control and the like. But there's so many other specialties. I mean, for SCCA, this is a club, the Sports Car Club of America. And for all the specialties that are part of this club, this is their national championship too, whether it be corner working, grid, pit, scoring, tech, any of that. It's just so important to everybody. And, you know, very, very special bunch.
Yeah. You know what else? Championship level are the parties this week.
Oh, yeah.
The block party or last
Top
night's,
tier,
you know, the worker party. Everything's been great. The band last night was rocking good.
That's what I hear. I had to miss it.
The band was good, and yeah, that was a lot of fun. It's been a great week. Yeah,
it really has. It's just a special event wherever it's held, but there's just something awfully special about you know, Road America, to be sure. And it's just magic, you know, and everybody works so hard to get here, and you know, for every person here. And I love the stories, you know, so many people, they have every ounce of passion that these drivers do. They don't have the budget. Yeah. They just can't do it, but they love it, so they find a specialty with within SCCA. You want the best seat in the house? Flagging and communications. You're a tech geek. Used to be that would just be timing and scoring. Now it's tech because of all the electronics on the cars. There's so many things, but the coolest thing to me, and I found this out to my great joy, when I joined the club, you basically suddenly expand your close family by about 50,000 people.
Absolutely.
Because the first time a couple of friends, we wanted to go out and just do a little trip out to Buttonwillow in California. And I was asking the local flag chief and everything there, you know, where are the hotels? Where should we go? And they said, well, we can point them out for you, but they've got a spare bedroom and a fold-out sofa. Yep. I mean, it's just that you're part of our family. Come and stay. SCCA is a special thing.
It really is. It is a giant family. Drivers, workers. You and I get to be a part of it. It's been spectacular. And this event has just been a highlight of my year every year.
Oh, I agree. One of my absolute favorite events. And we have watched literally a legend in Formula V in this one make that big step up to being a national champion in Formula Continental as well. And that's a pretty nice closing of a circle there. There's no question about that. In this 60th anniversary year, that's something that Michael will be talking about. There's no question about that, as the top three will work their way over to, of course, Hayward. We'll be sending it down there in just a moment. But Dean Kiriluk, he and Bill Johnson had an absolutely fabulous battle for fourth and fifth for a long part of this till Johnson had his problem. Dean, great run. Rockford Beauchamp as a rookie comes up and picks up a, whoops. It's been so long since Verison won a gold, he turned right into the paddock and went to victory circle. So we might be getting our second place finisher here. Yeah, they'll send him back, I'm sure. You can see, I can see workers scrambling over there. But Hayward will, I'm sure, grab our second place finisher, and we'll get a fun interview with Robert Allaer, chili powered for this event. Here he is. Man, I tell you, when he told me the same story that he told you about Nolan breaking the outright track record at VIR in a historic Indy car, and just the beam in his eyes, it was just ridiculous. And one heck of a gentleman and a mighty fine pilot.
He's pretty darn good.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Well, Rob, you're the only one we've got, so we're going to talk to you.
Good, I might get a little extra airtime.
Yeah, Michael went on to victory circle. He's ready to get this thing over with, and third place finisher didn't make it around. So tell us about this race from your perspective.
Well, I'm not the first person to finish behind Mike Verison's. I know that. Incredible. I'm so happy for him. He's worked so hard since 2019 in this class. He's a great competitor, just a first-class guy. He lent his motor to my teammate Dean so that Dean could race. I mean, who does that? He's the best. Very happy. I'd like to take a second, if I could, to say there's a couple people missing from this runoffs that we need to talk about. Greg Rice passed away a couple months ago, and Rice Race Prep and LTD are fierce competitors on the track. But, you know, off the track, great man, great guy. He helped a lot of kids get better, and we miss him here at the runoffs. And I forgot to say this in 2020. Sorry taking this time, but Jim Victor passed away in 2017 here at the Cat National in the Kink. And he was a staple in our class. We miss him. And with everything that went on in qualifying with the Spec Miatas, Road America and the SCCA need to do something about the kink before we race here again, because we're not going to wait for someone to die.
Yep. Definitely a conversation. Thank you very much for coming to Victory Circle. We're happy to have you here. Hopefully we'll have Michael here in just a second. We'll throw guys back to the booth.
Thanks, Hayward.
Wow, yeah, some real emotion there, obviously, from Rob Allaer. He's been doing this a while, and you know, so you know, he feels things very strongly. There's no question about that. But he does love racing here, and obviously, you know, he's got his concerns, and he wants
loves
it to
racing.
be
He
as
loves
safe
the
as
people
possible.
around racing.
Yeah,
you can see that coming through.
You bet. That's the big thing.
He never talked about his own race. Never talked
No.
about anything going on in here. Everything was outside of what goes on in the car.
Yep. And I mean, you literally, you know, you saw, you know, as he came down the front straight where he just backed off to give Michael his moment and all that. Pretty cool. So Verisons gets his 8th medal and his first in Continental. Allaer adds another medal to his collection with a 2nd place finish. Tomasi adds another medal to his collection, finishing in 3rd. Kira Luck in 4th. Rockford Beauchamp, I think he'd be pretty pleased as a rookie coming in here in 5th in a tough class. Doug Rocco, Timothy Minor, man, such a drive he put in. That's a heart punch right there. Hayden Eade, you can see he had a problem early, dropped down a few laps. We saw Johnson's off, and I don't think Hartley McDonald ever made it out to take the green. So let's get back down to Hayward, see who he's found.
Michael, we assume that you just drove it straight into the trailer, loaded up, ready to head home. Tell me about your race.
Yeah, I've had enough of this. I figured it's time to go home. So, no, that was awesome. You know, I knew it was going to be a tough race with Tim and I if we kind of got away, and that's sort of the way it played out. So, I'm not sure what happened. It looked like on the radio I heard they lost a wheel or something going into 1, which was kind of unfortunate. I think we would have had a pretty good battle to the end there. The only thing I wasn't sure what was going to happen was, you know, if we were going to get a white flag, green flag, or what. So when I came around the first time on the full course yellow, we hadn't gotten the white yet. I was like, oh, great, because I didn't think I could hold these guys off on the restart. The draft in these cars is still actually pretty strong. It feels like a Formula V almost, more than you would think. So I was just praying that when we came by the next time that the white flag came out and the pace car didn't come in the pit lane, and they didn't. So we got a little lucky there. We didn't have to do a last lap shootout. But I'll take it any way we can get it. So this is fantastic.
You were pretty much the undisputed king of Formula V for quite some time, 7 championships here. How does it feel to climb this hill?
Oh, you got no idea how bad I wanted this. It was a lot of work. I feel like there's just a huge weight off my shoulders now, because I don't think I was gonna be happy the rest of my life unless I got one in another class. So you know, I was good until I saw my daughter. I picked my daughter up and I just lost it. So yeah, this is awesome.
Well, congratulations to you, a major achievement. 8 runoffs national championships. That puts you up there with the big boys. Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you very much. I'm not going to sleep for a week, I don't think. Thank you. All right.
You know, we were setting up and talking about the emotion, what it means for these SCCA club members to compete, let alone win at the runoffs. This is a 7-time champion. But he almost lost it again talking to us there. It means so much.
It absolutely does. It becomes the focus of your life. And now with his kids getting older, they're now a part of it, where perhaps 7-8 years ago they weren't. But what a great performance. Love to see that emotion.
Yep, and here we go. Take a look at some of the highlights. There's the start, and a couple of these great battles here. And here's Verisons coming back down the inside of Allaer to grab that 2nd spot. And this is where we saw his speed, because he quickly ran down. And you can see him as he came up alongside there on Minor, giving him some hand signals to, okay, let's see if we can break this pack and get going here. And here you see a couple of guys, Allaer included, getting a little crossed up. But here maybe was the moment in the early part of the race when Minor said, I am not giving you the lead, into the twisty bits here. And then we had the off, and the left front tire coming off from Minor's car. Wow.
Unfortunate way to finish what was a fantastic race, but for Verisons, it is special anyway.
Oh, yeah, win's a win. And so they came through and ended up, didn't get back to green on the last lap. And so it was Verisons getting in. There you see Allaer just backing way off and letting, and letting his friend Michael get the glory he deserves here. And that's where everybody eventually heads here after a race, to the absolutely stunning victory circle here at Road America. Thanks again to Mazda for being the presenter of this incredible broadcast once again. And that is going to wrap up not only the Run to the Gold in Formula Continental, but also day one of the 60th running of SCCA's National Championship Runoffs at America's National Park of Speed, Road America. It has been awesome. Larry, a pleasure as always. Hayward doing great job down in the pit lane. I'm Greg Creamer. Have a great evening, everybody, and we can't wait to get back at it for day two.
Choose joy. Choose the road. Choose your people. Choose your shot. Take it. Choose to get in there. Even better, get out there. That's it. Way out there. Choose your calling. Choose to really care. Choose to go for it. Just choose. We craft cars for those who choose to do more than simply move.
I wake up.
Picture your perfect garage. How many cars are in there? Great, great. Now picture reality. How many cars can you actually have? Me too. With SCCA Club Spec, one car becomes your daily, your track car, your autocross car, even your time trials car. S197 Mustang if you like V8s and torque, NC Miata if you like compact and agile. SCCA Club Spec, spirited dailies, competitive race cars. Learn more at scca.com.